this one for like a month to the final picture. And I could take everything and chit chat and It was like, I'm sitting there and it was done. The camera was still on. People were chit chatting in there and still looking at vegetables. Yeah, so I was like, you know, it was a struggle. I think it's working correctly now. Everybody's lips sections make people uncomfortable. It's working, the audio is working, but people don't like listening to like that's reasonable. So that's why we have it up this way a little bit. So cute. I don't remember. She's going to say something about the career growth initiative, and then she's going to have. That's going to be downstairs in the medium conference. Sure. Judy, so you don't. I'm like. Are they always speaking, or are they asking? I do have a, but not knowing what Laura, so it is. That's not yes. I mean, it's no big deal.
No, it's really not.
It's not.
Let it go.
Let it go. Let it
Tickets are all sold out.
Did you figure out the Facebook had a couple of she did Allison say anything about the Facebook video?
Oh, yeah.
It's only like a minute but I thought it was so appropriate.
We stayed on these.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
But we put them up.
Okay, are we rolling? The day after a holiday, nobody's here.
I know they're all out there. They're just waiting for us to start, right, Heather?
Sure.
That's your cue, Heather.
It's always up. They see us.
So, let's go to the next slide. Okay, are we starting?
The amazing Judy Paul.
You're in charge, not me. This is your meeting. Ta-da! Good morning.
Good morning.
The room is packed. I know you can't see them, but the room is packed. The day after a holiday. Can you believe it? Thank you, everybody. It's a packed house this morning, and I am so glad you're here. I'm Judy Paul, for those who don't know me. Oh, and before maybe this was supposed to be at the end, but I'm just going to say, today's Brandon's birthday. And he's sitting up here on his birthday.
On my birthday.
I mean, what does that tell you about our company, right?
It's dedication.
Dedication. And somebody twisted his arm, I'm sure.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, we have a panel this morning, and they're going to share the thing that I like about our company is the fact that it doesn't matter if you are a mega agent or just getting started or wherever you are in between, that there's always something to learn, and we can learn from everybody. And so this morning we're just going to see what these guys have to say about their business and where they are. And if you just get one thing today, then the morning has been successful as far as I'm concerned. And I always learn one thing, at least one thing from somebody. There are many ways to start and grow your business. We're all wired differently, as you can tell. Some are very quiet, some are bubbly, but we're all wired differently. And what works for one person may not work for another person in their business. But there's no right or wrong way to do this business. And that's the cool part. And that's why we have so many different people in this business. Because whatever works for you, just run with it. Today our panel, they're going to share their journey to success, whatever success means for them. I'm not blocking you, Bree. Okay, so our panel today, I was going to introduce them, but I think they can just introduce themselves. Start right here. Brandon?
I'm Brandon Lovell. I have been with Keller Williams since day one. Licensed on this October for 10 years. Really been practicing real estate for about 6 of those years, and year and a half ago, I got my broker's license. So never been anywhere else, but I do know that by meeting with other companies and that kind of thing, that Keller Williams is just the ultimate in training and the best place to be for, I think, for all agents. So that's me.
I'm Laura Carter, and I've been with Keller Williams for 3 years, and I got my license 3 years ago, so also have only been with Keller Williams. And I have really benefited from all of the training that Keller Williams offers, Bold, Ignite, and I mean, the training just goes on and on, and I love Keller Williams.
And I'm Natasha, and I've been in Keller Williams for 3 years as well. And I remember interviewing with at least 2 other companies. And once I met Judy Crawford, that was it for me. So I really enjoyed being here. And this is my business, the way that God has helped in it expanding and growing, certain stuff that I do. So I enjoy being here.
My name's Diane Hicks. I have been an agent a year and a month, and I came here day one. My brother drug me here. He's in the Snowball office, but I've loved every minute of it. We've always been entrepreneurs. My husband and I, we have another business that we run, and it's so different. The people here want to help, and you just don't see that in every corporation. And I couldn't imagine being anywhere else but Keller Williams.
Thanks everybody for being here, because otherwise I'd be up here by myself. And that wouldn't be fun. Well, what I want to say today is that what we do today or don't do today will show up in our bank account in about 90 days. That's a scary thought, or it could be a good thought. The one thing about, I think a lot of people get into this business because of the freedom that it offers for their schedule. Freedom is a good thing, but it also can be a very bad thing. And if we don't create habits needed to sustain our business, we're not going to have a business. And our business will grow to the extent that we grow personally. So I want to start off by asking our panel some questions. What are the things you learned in Bold? Because I know everybody here did attend at least one Bold, correct? Diane, you were also in Bold? She was out of the gate and she was in Bold, so that tells you a lot about Diane right there. So what are the things that you learned in Bold that you actually apply to your business consistently? Is there anything that you apply consistently to your business that you got from Bold?
I like to be organized, and I thought I was. And I heard before going to Bold that you could have a breakdown, and I thought, I got this. About halfway through, I had a breakdown and a breakthrough. It was very emotional. I realized that I was not organized as I thought I was, and I could not do all the tasks that I should be doing while being unorganized. I mean, my husband came home, and I was still in the office at home, and he came in there, and I just started squalling. And I told him, I said, I can't do this. I can't do this. So he literally sit down on the floor and listen to me. And it dawned on me, we worked together for 20 years, 20 plus years. And it dawned on me that he's always gave me the credit of being organized. But all I was doing was following his lead. He set it into place, and I followed his lead. And needless to say, he got up, he went and cooked on the grill, got me a tall glass of wine, and said it's going to be all right. By that weekend, he had every wall in my home office.
Had it.
That's what I needed at the moment. Had it organized, and we set it up to where I can visually see it. I realize that I'm a visual person. If it's not in front of me, I can't go with it. I take a lot of notes. You'll probably know that from me sitting in classes. I take a lot of notes. And I learned that if the wheel's not, what is it they say? Why reinvent the wheel?
Oh, yeah.
You know, Keller Williams has already got a program.
Mm-hmm.
And if we follow it, it will work.
The models and systems are already there.
Yes.
You just have to put them in place.
Right.
And so that's what you learned. You learned that you didn't have anything in place and you needed to get your stuff together.
Right. And for the new people, do it now. Because when you get busy, it's not the time to do it.
Absolutely. Good advice. Natasha, what one thing? Or Brandon? Brandon's anxious. Let's just hear from Brandon.
Consistency is the biggest thing for me. I think a lot of us think there's some kind of secret sauce or some secret formula that we just don't have and we're not getting, and it's just going and doing it every day consistently, knowing your scripts. I learned to be, it sounds corny, but you learn to be bold, assertive, how to say things, how to approach people, and you just, taking that time in the morning. I like to do it in the morning because when the day gets started, by the time you get to lunch, everything's taking your day away. So just setting that time in the morning to prospect, however you prospect, and making that happen, because that is the key to this business and having a business. If you don't prospect, you have nothing.
Exactly. Good advice.
Consistency.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I will. I learned so many things from Bold, so to narrow it down to the most significant thing that I learned from Bold was script practice. When I first went into Bold, I hated scripts. I mean, it sounded fake. I had this mindset that scripts would not work. And, here 3 years later, I almost have all of them memorized. Natasha and I practice them. And it's to set up a time and to make sure that you're practicing the scripts and you know the scripts and you own the scripts. And then, it does start sounding naturally. And you start hearing scripts come out in everyday life, even, when you're just talking to people, and it starts flowing. And the key is just some practice. The more you practice it, the less scripted it sounds.
So what you're saying is the key there is to internalize it.
Yes.
So it's yours.
Right.
And once you internalize what you've learned, what they've given you as the scripts to learn, at that point, it's so internalized that you could change it up a little bit.
Right.
If you would care to. But first, you got to do it their way.
Correct.
Okay, great.
And I agree with everything that those of us that have taken Bold, what they've said. I mean, number one, you really, especially lead gen, that's a big thing. And that's one thing that I practice personally and where I've seen it's become a great impact in my business as to with the script. And I've already been practicing script almost for 2 years now. So I love calling expired, because whenever there's certain objections that they're going to throw back at you, when you're prepared for that, it's not scary. You know what I mean? So I enjoy doing that. And door knocking, that's one of the things that we do a lot, to get out there in front of people and just to And I mean, I've gotten business, this year from just being out there and door knocking, and one turned into something else, into something else. So number one, you just have to, lead generation is very, very important, because if you're not willing to do that, you're not really going to be in business for long. You got to open your mouth, and that's one thing that Bold has really helped me with, is just to get out of yourself, get out of being shy or being scared to speak with people. If you want your business to grow, you have to really be bold enough to step out there and do things that other agents are not doing. You know what I mean? Yesterday, me and Laura was in the sun, door knocking. I mean, this one guy, like, well, I hope you don't sweat to death. I'm like, I hope I don't either. But I mean, doing things that, then that's where you're going to see some return. It may seem crazy, but hey, not a lot of folks is doing it. And when they see you out there doing it, they trust you to say, okay, if you're doing that, you know what, you'd be a great agent to represent me myself. So.
Very good, very good.
You do it on a holiday too, they're going to be home.
Oh, yeah, there you go. There you go. This is interesting because I didn't really actually mean to start out with a bold advertisement, but I knew my first question, and I knew that all of these people had gone through bold at least one time. So I thought, okay, we'll just start out with a bold question. But that just tells you. And Natasha, I don't know how well you know Natasha and Laura, but they're not really super outgoing. They're kind of quiet, don't you think? Both of you are pretty, you have a quieter personality. But now look at them. They are actually bold. So I applaud you. I really do applaud you. So next question. And you might have already kind of answered this, but if you could pick one thing, what's been the one thing that you feel has grown your business the most in the amount of years? I know that from 10 years to just over 1 year. What one thing can you say contributed the most to where you are today and the money that you have in your bank account because of what you've done? What would that one thing be that you've done?
I think that networking.
Okay.
I go to a lot of networking, and the saying, it's not who you know, it's who they know.
Mm-hmm.
And not only networking with people you don't know, but you see some of the same faces a lot. But they will remember you when it comes time if somebody says, I've got a house I'm going to sell or whatever. And you got to be confident. Put on here, don't let them see you sweat. And even though I've only been in it just over a year, I have never once had anybody ever ask me how long I've been in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So be confident in what you're doing. Go out there. And when I first started, I went to every class there was. And I wrote down notes, and I'm like listening to all these super agents, mega agents, and asking them what they did, and okay, I'm going to try that, okay, I'm going to try that. Well, I ended up with a book of, here, I'm going to try all this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find your own niche.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask you. How did you arrive at networking is what you were going to focus on? How did that come about for you?
I used to network with our other business,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you have to be out there, just like they're door knocking.
Mm-hmm.
Your face has got to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I went around, I found different organizations to go to and everything, and I really enjoy it.
Okay.
It's not always during the day. Sometimes they're at night.
Mm-hmm.
And, you got to really push. And, I was talking to my husband about what we were doing today, and he said that if he could say anything about me, is that I'm consistent. Like he said, just keep going.
Find something that works and keep at it.
Right.
That's the message I'm
Right.
hearing. Okay, great. Natasha, Laura, do you have anything that, what's been the one thing? I know that's hard, but if you think about it, what's the one thing that you can attribute the success that you have achieved so far?
Yeah.
I know, Natasha, you've gone from a lot of different things. I've seen you grow in, first being on the phone for someone else and then being on someone's team, and now you're on your own. So tell me what the one thing is that took you from that beginning point to where you are today?
I mean, just that getting in the business, I went through both, just my first year. So that was what I know, you know what I mean, going in is you have to do those things. So I build that foundation on it. So I know you have to make your phone calls. I know the things to do. You know, you have to practice your script. And that's what I kept doing. And I keep getting better and better and better.
Right.
So that one thing. I mean,
So your thing is what you learned in bold is what
exactly
got you to where you
and
are.
I put it in play, not just
Right.
you know,
You
talk
just
about
didn't
it.
sit there and
Exactly.
listen and take notes and go home and file it.
Yes.
You actually
Right.
put it in practice.
Right.
And I would say, just very similar to that, I mean, lead generation. And, you know, like I said, the scripts was very difficult for me at first. But practicing the scripts made it easier as I, you know, went on, practice more. Making those phone calls every day is not easy at all. That phone weighs so much, and just to get started, there's so many other things that you think that you need to do, or I think that I need to do, and that if I'm not careful, I allow things to get in my way, and I have to protect my schedule and protect that time so that I am, whether I'm on the phone making the phone calls, or we're outdoor knocking, or, you know, whatever kind of lead gen and those are the two that I concentrate the most on. And then I also concentrate on following up with my past clients so that they're clients for life. Like last year, I did a Thanksgiving pie giveaway that I called all the clients that I'd had for the past 2 years and got them a pie, and they came and took a photo with me, and we put it on Facebook, and, you know, they put a little something on, you know, what their experience was like with me.
Okay, great. That was kind of part of my next question, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Being comfortable with rejection.
Oh, yeah. Has anybody ever been rejected in this room? No.
I'm a high D personality. I don't do the whole party network thing. I do that, but that's not the place that I choose to get business from. I'm more inspired caller for sale by owner. I do a lot of passive marketing through my postcards, mailers, that kind of thing. I want to get people to call me. That's always my goal. I want them to call me so I'm in control. But at the same time, that, you know, we can't just sit there and wait on the phone to ring. So when I'm calling the expireds and the FSBOs, it's being comfortable and almost getting to a point where you love the rejection because it's like, okay, next.
Yes, next.
On to the
Yes,
next.
yes.
You know, you don't let it, give it none of your time, give it none of your energy.
Yes.
Next.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the thing is anybody out there, even I'm included in this, is anybody sitting out there listening to this and feeling guilty at all? Raise your hand. Anybody feel guilty? You know, they're telling you this is the basis to our business. It's talking to people, picking up the phone, and are we doing it? So I don't always, but so my next question was, I was just going to say, because in our business things happen, and there's that's okay for me. It's like there's always a fire to put out, and prospecting, as we all know, is what brings us our business and fills up our bank account 90 days out.
But yet it's the easiest thing to put at the bottom of the list.
Yes, and how many people do that? I am so guilty of that, and I'm not perfect. None of us are perfect. They're sitting up here, not to say that they're perfect and they have all the answers, but you know they're doing it. So I applaud them. So how do you protect that prospecting time? Do you have any helpful hints that you could share with us that I'm working on it right now, and I can share some of mine after they all share. But how do you protect that time?
I have a little notebook on my cell phone, and on Sunday I go through and I put my entire week out there, and I first go to the Keller Williams intranet, the calendar that Miss Heather, the great calendar that she puts together, that stuff goes on my week first. And then, you know, I look on my calendar in my phone and see what else is going on. I place it on the day, so time block.
Okay.
I find out doing it first thing in the morning. I love starting at 8 o'clock. That's really good. The day's just getting started, and once it's on your calendar, it don't matter if the phone is ringing or you're having all kinds of distractions, because you will have distractions, but you just have to do it. You know what I mean?
Just do it.
And, you know, and don't think that, oh, I'm calling them too early and they're going to get mad at me. I mean, I've had folks, oh, you woke me up, but that's good, you know.
Good morning.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not going to be offended and not want you to. No, it's not like that. So at times people think, oh, that's too early, and then you wait until way later. Because I promise you, you're not the only one that's calling. You know, there's so many other agents and companies out there that are calling these people, so you want to be the first in line, you know, to call them so that you can get that appointment. So I found out 8 o'clock is really, really good, rather than afternoon, because then when you start getting all these distractions and all kinds of stuff coming to that stuff first thing in the morning stuff.
Very good.
I also do it first thing in the morning. I start at 8:30, and it's just you just pick whatever time you're comfortable doing, and putting it on my schedule is key. And also another thing that I do is when I'm sitting down and I'm taking a listing and I'm at a listing appointment, I explain to them that, you know, every day part of my job is to find a buyer for your house. And so you're not going to be able to reach me between 8:30 and 11 o'clock. So if you call me during that time and you can't reach me, don't be upset. Just leave me a message or send me a text, and I'll get back with you when I'm finished with, you know, making my phone calls, because you do want me to find a buyer for your house, right? And you know, oh yes. And I've found that really eliminates a lot of phone calls in the morning.
Did you recognize that script sheet?
Yeah.
Those of us who've been through both, we recognize that one. Yes. It's great. It's natural.
Yes.
Like the rest of them in the morning time. You know, that's when usually it's about 9, sometimes between 9 and 11 for me. I can feel it when I'm an individual agent. I don't have an assistant. You know, I get 4, 6, 7 things under contract. You're working to get all those to closing, and then I can start to feel it. I haven't been doing prospecting, you know, and then the last thing you want is for your business to be like this, and for you to have 6 closings at the end of the month, and then you're starting over all over again.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, it just goes back. There's no secret. It's just
There
doing
is
it every day.
there is no
Consistency.
secret. Yeah.
If you do it and you do it consistently, you will be successful. And there's no
Magic
excuse
bullet,
for
yes.
it. No.
Yeah. Well, Gary Keller says that, and I think it's, you know, in selling real estate, it's not really about selling real estate. It's about following a schedule. So if you start there, and Gary Keller says, when you look at your schedule, the first thing is like, what's the most important thing to you and your family? And you put that in first. And then you're prospecting, and you put that on your calendar. And then you work everything else around those things. I'm not there yet, but it's been about a year, and I have to just tell you that one of the things that has helped me the most grow myself, grow my business, is I read The Miracle Morning, and it has been life-changing for me. Some of the things that I do is that I get up really early now, because I've always said I'm not a morning person, and I use that as an excuse. So I now get up very, very early, and I exercise. I write my goals down every single day. I am committed statements down every single day in a notebook. And then I look at my calendar, and I do, as we're taught, there is no try.
My favorite one.
Yes. Most days, I'll just have to say, most days I have a written calendar. I've switched from my phone, which was so easy and handy, to a paper calendar, and I put my schedule, I can see it. And I put everything down there. And then, that's the hard part for me, getting it down there on paper. But then it's just a matter of, it's not about selling real estate, it's about following
the schedule. And if my schedule says make calls, it's a matter of doing what my calendar says. Okay, let's see. If you were giving advice to somebody just starting out, where would you suggest is the best place to start right after they got their license? And what you might do with that advice is also share maybe what advice somebody gave you that still is in your head. You can remember somebody telling you when you were brand spanking new, do this. Because I know we've heard a lot of things and it came from Bold, but in the beginning, we didn't have Bold. We didn't know all those things. But there were other people who were experienced and they shared some of the things that helped them. So what one thing could you give to a new agent? What to do to get started? And then what advice were you given when you got started?
I think that, like I said a minute ago, that to get organized. And I remember when I first started, I literally got my license, went the next day, picked them up, and I was here the next day and in classes. Those classes that Allison has, that Matthew has, that everybody has, go to all of those classes because you learn little nuggets and everything. Set up your LLC, get everything in line. But my biggest thing I wrote down here was to find out your why. Including y'all, who in here knows that my why for this year was for my daughter's wedding?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming up quick. It's January 8th. And you spoke of something about the fire. I literally put down here, don't lose your fire. Keep thinking of your motivation that drives you. And then I ask about the why, and then let it be known what your why is. I have so many agents that comes up to me and they're like, how's the wedding planning going? Mm-hmm. And that puts a check to me. It's like, that reminds me. So figure out your why, because on those hard days,
It gets you out of bed.
it does. It does. It gets you going. And put a deadline to it. Mine, of course, has a deadline because you're just getting married.
Uh-huh.
But if you've got a why, if you want to pay off some bills, write that down and say, I'm going to pay it off by this date. And then using the Career Growth Initiative will show you how you're going to get there by that date.
Okay. Who else? Mr. Shear.
One thing I would say, because I kind of battled that a little bit, and that is not to worry too much about, getting things perfect before you get started. Oh, I have to have a website. I have to get things so in order before I go out there. And I think so many times we hide onto that stuff because we don't want to literally go out there and talk to people. Oh, I can't do this because I have to get all this together. No, because if you get all this together, you don't have anyone to use it on. What's the sense of it,
Yeah.
So I think it's best you forget that and go out there and start talking to people and telling them, introducing yourself, what you do, and just putting yourself out there so that you can get that business. I promise you, once you get that one client, a second client, all that other stuff will come together. You know what I mean? But I just think you agents at times put so much. Classes is great. I love coming to the classes, but sometimes you can find yourself buried so much into the classes. You're so faithful to it that you're not really faithful to what is going to actually bring you the business, and that is being out there and getting the business.
So, good point.
On one of the classes and everything was very overwhelming when I first came, and because when I first came here, I had 4 jobs in addition to real estate, and so for me to be working these 4 jobs and be doing real estate on part time and to be in the classes, I was on information overload. And the best advice that I got that I would pass on to you guys is that to give yourself a break. And if you can't get 10 new contacts in your database every day, do 5. As long as you're doing something, it's, and just not, 10 is too stressful, or 20, whatever your goal is, just start somewhere and start building your database. And you can build your database from the grocery store, from the car wash, from your school, from your work, if you're working outside, church, family. And it's very easy to start growing and building that database just 5 names at a time.
Good advice, very good advice.
Yeah, database.
Yeah.
Database is number one, because it's like Natasha said, class is great, getting everything set up perfectly is great, but those things can help you make money, but they are not actively making you money while you're doing them. And the database is something that has a quicker return on that. So database is number one, and everybody said that to me 10 years ago. Build your database, and I thought, if I would have done
Did you
that.
listen?
No,
Then no?
of course not. But that's the best advice I can give.
Yeah, yeah.
Database.
And it doesn't cost anything.
No,
That's
free.
the other thing, It's a challenge when you first get started. You have a lot of money going out and nothing's coming
Right.
in initially. And there are a lot of months, you have to go before you start to see a return on what you're putting in.
People they're so used to, can I have your email address? Everybody asks, you go buy a shirt somewhere, can I have your email address?
Right.
So it's not a big deal. It's
Right.
so easy to get email, phone number,
Right.
that kind of thing. So
And one way it's easier to get their names and numbers is to tell them that you don't have your business card. And can I put your name and number, and I'll send you my business card through the phone. And so you have it in there, and it's their real phone number, and you're sending it to them, and then they have it on their phone.
See, good tricks.
I like that.
But in the beginning, there's a lot of things that you can do that don't cost you any money. And I think the one thing is get out there, as Natasha said, get out there and just get started. I struggled with this in the beginning because I'm one of those people that I wanted it all to look good before I got started. I wanted it to be all pretty, as we all know. I wanted it to be my logo set up. I wanted this to be set up. I wanted that to be set up. But, and also going to a lot of classes, my daughter said, "Mom, when do you ever work? All you do is go to class." Which was true. Because I felt in the beginning that I needed to know everything, and I was so afraid that somebody would ask me a question and I would not know the answer. That was my biggest fear when I got started. But what I've learned with years is that it's okay not to have all the answers, but it is important to be honest about not having all the answers. And that is, I don't know, but I know where to find the answer, and I'll get back to you. So, and that was really some freeing for me in the beginning. So I just say, like Natasha said, get out there, talk to people, do a lot of the free things first. You can do some of the other things later, but build your database. Do it every day. So, extraordinary results come from the choices that we make and the actions that we take. And so today, I think basically what I've heard all these people say up here, and they're probably not where they want to be. I am sure they're not where they want to be. We're all growing and we're all learning, but they are taking action, and that's what I've heard everybody say. They are taking action of some sort. What works for them, whether it's networking or door knocking or making phone calls, just get out there and be proactive. Do something. I want to read something from, has anybody read the book, The One Thing? Well, I'm just going to tell you, I did read this when it first came out, and I didn't like it. Because, the timing wasn't right. I mean, I just didn't get it. I mean, I knew there was good stuff in here, but I just wasn't ready. There's been a lot of books in the past year that have been that way for me. I'm now education-based, And I read lots of books now, and I never used to read all those books. But the timing was right for me, and I just started rereading this book. And I just want to read something that I actually read this morning when I do my exercising, my journaling, and my reading. And I read this morning. And this is something that Gary Keller said that, this is what he said. I first became aware of the power of questions as a young man. I read a poem that affected me profoundly, and I've carried it with me ever since. And the poem was My Wage. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just employer. He gives you what you ask, but once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn, dismayed, that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. So what I got out of this morning, and I think I wrote this down, and it's my question to you. What wage are you asking of your life? Because life will willingly pay that wage. And I'll share one thing that I have been doing for the past year. As I write down my goals, I started writing down what I was going to pay myself every month. Every morning I write that down. I will pay myself, yada, yada. And it was, up there. And it was like, go big or stay home. So it was, about November or so, I started thinking about that and thinking where I had to be to start in January to pay myself that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so close to my goals. But I had been writing it down every day. So this year I really bumped it up. So, but it really spoke to me this morning because it says, what wage do you want? Because life will pay you the wage that you want. You just have to put it out there. And that came from Gary Keller. So I thought, just do what he says. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just kind of do what he says. And clarity is, another thing I want to share with you that we got from Bold is, clarity is power. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think putting it on our schedule makes it clear what we have to do. Does anybody have any questions you want to ask any of these guys? No questions? They did such a great job. Do you have any additional things you want to share?
I had on here, make your why bigger than you can reach, and God will take it from there so you can give Him all the glory. And I saw something on Facebook a couple of days ago that really, really spoke to me. Yes.
This weekend, I meant to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up.
And it's only a minute and a half long, and Heather's willing to show it if y'all want to see it.
Yay! I wanted you to do that. It is really good.
Are we in the way? Can you see?
Yeah, we can
Okay. I feel like
This is perfect.
it's thinking.
As far as you can go in isolation. But in order to take the next step, you're going to have to let other great people flock together with you. Wait, don't pop yet. Without being intimidated by their greatness. I am wondering, do you see them through the lens of competitiveness, or are you strong enough to see them through a lens of collaborativeness? Because truly great people can accommodate the greatness of others. Only insecure people have to shoot down every other great person in order to function. Because their fear is that if people see options, they would be excluded. Oh, this is going to get good in a minute. Don't be great by yourself. I'm going to say that again. Don't be great by yourself. Because you diminish your impact and you lose your protection. Even the Lone Ranger had Tonto.
Wasn't that good?
Seek wise counsel.
Seek wise counsel. See, I love that. That's so much the Keller Williams culture.
Yeah.
Is that that's why these guys were not afraid to be up here and share their stuff, because they want to be great and they want us all to be great together.
I've had so many people at Keller Williams that I've been to lunch with. You know, have you got a minute? What do you do? You know, I've walked into their office and said, can I take a picture of your board? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't think I'm stealing something from them. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm just, in the beginning, all the classes, all the everything, all the, I need to be there. I need to have all this done. You feel like your brain's going to explode. Mm-hmm. And I promise it won't. But, you know, it's because everybody linked together, arm in arm, and, you know, wasn't afraid to share where they were and what got them there.
And that's like mega camp and family reunion, all those things that Keller Williams puts on. It's just out there. There's so many even Facebook groups that you can join where there's sharing, and also, I don't know, I probably need to share this with you girls because you might not know this. There's a Facebook where you can do script partners on Facebook. You can get one from across the country because it kind of changes it up, you know, if you're not always working with the same person. If you do it with somebody on the other side of the country and you do script practice, you know, it brings a different, you know, little thing to it. So, okay. Can you put that light for me so I'm not on? Thank you, Ann. Okay, let me see if I'm on schedule, because that's where that's my weakness. Working on it. So is this the right time? We just have 5 minutes, is that correct? Yay! Sure. Right? Okay. So I just want to let everybody know that if you have signed up and paid your money for the KW Party with a Purpose, Saturday night, the 17th, it's going to be great. And if you didn't and you're going to miss it, stay tuned. We're going to do it bigger and better even next year. But for everybody, and I guess if anybody's listening out there, there will be an email that goes out tomorrow giving you instructions, where, what, how to do everything, so that you're there at 6 o'clock on September the 17th. And I just want to say a couple things also about where the money goes when you donate, and hopefully everybody's donating either on your green sheets or just go give Jackie some money and tell her it's for KW Cares. Any way that you can contribute, we really appreciate it. And that money goes, and right now, KW Cares just granted 250 emergency grants to the people in Louisiana for the flooding, totaling $1 million. There was another one, Angie, do you remember what that was? I couldn't find it this morning.
It was about adopting a family, that one?
No, not that. There was another,
I don't know.
there was one other thing. But anyway, what they said was that there's a lot of money going out big amounts going out because of all the devastation, and they really need the donations to come in. One thing that they've asked for, and you're going to hear more about this in the next month because we got to get through the party first. The culture committee has to get through the party first. But they have asked that Market Centers adopt a family that has been gone through some of this devastation. And so we're going to be talking about that in our culture committee and bringing it to you to see, if that's something that we want to do as a Market Center, as an adoptive family. So be thinking about that, and we'll tell you more about that later. Does anybody have any questions about anything?
Jackie is going to be having a short session after this in the downstairs meeting conference room about the Career Growth Initiative. So even if you have already got your goals set up, she's just going to kind of do like a short intro, kind of show you the way around the tools that you can use to start that up. We've got pre-licensing classes starting on September 19th. If you know somebody that's interested, send them in. It is not too late to get a spot. We have all the information at the front desk. I can email it to you if you want, or just have them call Judy or Kim Yarrington. Let's see. The training count.
There it is.
Anybody got Cheers for Peers?
Anybody have Cheers for Peers? Okay.
I'm brand new, pretty new, and I had my first house on Caravan Tuesday. It was all the way out in Jackson County. In Jefferson. It's my mother's house. The only reason I got the listing because it's my mom. And 2 agents showed up, and I didn't think anybody was going to show up. And one of them was Miss Judy Crawford. And I it boosted my confidence because I was like, nobody's going to show up. That's going to show up. And I got a contract Friday afternoon. We were under contract 3 weeks long. So that was good. Yay! So I was so happy to see her little hat coming down that highway on driveway Tuesday. So it was nice.
When you need her.
Yes.
I've got one. Suzanne Willis is in here. I think most people know Suzanne. Each of us are individual agents. We're not on a team, and so we have made an arrangement that we back each other up if one of us goes on vacation. So I was lucky enough to go to Europe for a couple of weeks, and she totally backed me up. She had a closing that was supposed to close the day before I left my trip, and of course it got pushed to the middle of my vacation. She went to the walkthrough, she went to the closing, the walkthrough got in winder. So she really had my back, so I could enjoy my vacation. So if you see Suzanne, tell her she's awesome. That's great.
Anybody else?
I have one for Erica Nasser. I had to go to the hospital. We had some kidney stone issues, and I had 3 closings that was happening all at the same time, and it was just a crazy week, bad time to be in the hospital. And she just stepped up to the plate and said, you know what, don't worry about this, I've got this, you just get better.
Yes.
And it was just great.
Yeah.
I got to sell a house for an agent this year, and she was on vacation. She asked me if I would go to Walton County.
Oh, wow.
And I said, sure. And ended up selling a house for her. So.
I don't even know where Walton County is.
Where's Loganville?
That's it. It's below that.
Ask me.
That's where you're from.
It was 59 miles one way, so.
Yes.
But it was okay.
That's what we do for each other. I love that.
That's right.
Anything else?
Birthdays!
Birthday!
All of these people have a birthday, not just Brandon. All of these people have a birthday in September, so we brought a cake. Happy birthday to the birthday people, but I'm not singing. Just
Oh, let's sing.
no! I mean, go ahead.
Well, but we have to sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brandon and all these other people. Happy birthday to you.
I'm like, is that you?
What?
Well, there's 2 or Carter.
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
Oh, I thought you were talking to Brandon. I was like, did I
I
Brandon
was like, did I
was
slight you by not telling you? Yay, okay, that's a wrap.
Can we thank these guys? Because
Yes,
they
please.
were awesome.
They were.
Are we off that Judy says?
Oh, you mean the CGI one?
Yeah.
30 minutes. But you can just drop in and drop out.
Yeah. We want my son to play the night event, like 2 years ago, so, he wanted to go to I'm like, I've never been.
I think actually the back is a really nice thing. I have to say, don't spend too much time on it.
I know, John said that. Now it's this one now.
If you didn't sign in. I know you're thinking like,
But I did the virtual show with him a couple years ago.
Yeah, I turned it off.
Like these little tastes of that. Thank you. Probably getting rolled out with the fire.
I hear ya. I've heard that black frosting doesn't have any calories.
just big diet will kill you.
Right?
I don't even like icing. I like
I feel ya.
We did it ourselves.
It doesn't matter. So then I can, driver's license.
You're like me, you wait till your actual birthday. Yeah.
Well, I thought I could do it on
I like to do it on my birthday, hang out at the DMV in the tag office.
I thought I could do it online.
No. Well, at least with your tag, you have to the end of the month.
I got that.
Yeah. Oh, did I not stop it? I closed all the things. Oh, I could have sworn I stopped it. Yeah, just a second ago. Did it go okay? I didn't bring my phone for you to text me or anything. Good. You could hear everything? Great. Black frosting doesn't have any calories. Cake before noon doesn't have any calories. Yeah. You got some of these keys here? I want to drive the Volkswagen. Is that you? You have Volkswagen, don't you? You got keys? Nobody takes a lift on, so he's on my desk.
Give me that cup of cake.
Yeah, cut the cake. No, it's not for decoration, it's for eating.
Look, you need to park out in the middle. I heard a call you the other day, if you move your car up, I'll be back with it with you.
Oh, really?
Because you park right in the middle of that thing. If you're pulled one side, I'll put in there with you.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I'll consider that.
You'll consider it? Did you just tell me I will consider that? Did you just say I'll consider it? Not I'll do it. I'll consider it. Why don't you eat that? I don't want you to eat that.
yeah, we can do it, and I'm sure I'll make that happen. No problem. No problem.
Why are you taking the B? Right. Why do you take the A?
Okay.
Her last name's Brown, so.
I know there's a reason.
I wonder what that is.
Mom and Dad.
No, I can't.
Did you really?
My sister's in half. Dad is in hospital
I'm gonna be Jack.
But you
I'm ready for some egg parmesan. You've got that in my mind now.
If you let me know.
Okay.
If you get those tickets, I'll make sure that
Okay. Thank you.
thank you for coming and saying something.
Okay. Right, right.
I'm gonna look at this up as big cake.
Okay. Was it not stopped?
Right. The only thing is the builder uses a specific closing attorney, and if they come to the neighborhood and do the closing. So, but I'll talk to Ron. I'll talk to Ron
I
and
love
see.
it that it's a uniform and off the thing. Right. Except for this, look.
Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, fantastic. So, but I'll talk to Ron. I'll talk to Ron. I love it that it's a uniform and off. Okay. So awesome. Okay, that sounds fantastic. Sure. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Ask out loud.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
What? We asked out loud. So we have those keys to the door.
Fantastic. Awesome. All right, Jimmy, I love it. Thank you. All right, have a good day. Bye-bye.
It's a live stream thing, so I have a channel.
I know there were more than 9 people in here.
Can you tell who was watching it?
No, only if they say something. It was 10 or 1.